Porus is the beginning of formal history of India.
Welcome to the 118th episode of our author interaction series. So happy that we are into our season 2. Today we have the HR professional, history enthusiast and author Roopesh Tiwari with us as a special guest, and we'll be discussing his latest book, Porus in the Shadow of Betrayals. It is the first book of a 3-part series covering the early phases in the life of Porus. The project on Porus, as he says, has been an emotional journey full of learning and full of discovery. So welcome, Roopesh. It's such a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you, Neeta. Thanks for having me, and it is a pleasure to be part of your series, your channel.
Thank you, Roopesh, and welcome again from our side. And we, to start with, we'd really like to know from you about the book in brief. Perhaps you can just let the viewers know a little bit of a gist on the book, and also why did you not get inspired by other historical figures? Why Porus?
Yes, okay, great. So this is my book. First of all, so very close to my heart, and just as like Porus is a figure which every Indian know this name, and unfortunately, without apart from name, very little is known about this particular person. So I was very fascinated with this personality, and more of Porus, you keep hearing about Alexander. Alexander the Great, what they call. So a lot of research material, books are available on Alexander, what type of person he was, and personality and all that. So this is what attracted me. And this book, you said that gist of this particular book. So I would say that, okay, where a authentic source talks only one page about Porus, I am writing a 3-volume book on that particular character. So that's how I am emotionally involved with this particular subject. I researched for around 4 years on that. And this particular part will deal with the early life of Purushottam, which is the name which I have given in this particular book, and how Alexander became king and what was his early days when he started his expedition towards Persia, which led to Indian attack. So fortunately, or I can say unfortunately for me, there is nothing authentic known about Porus. So in this particular book, you will see a lot of fiction elements added into that, which will keep you on the edge of your seat. And that's why I said fortunately, the plot will keep changing from life of Purushottam to Magad to Alexander, and you will see that these 3 different plots are converging, and a reader will imagine that okay, they will meet in one particular place, which is the Battle of Hadaspes. So the battle is not there in this particular book. It is just a beginning and building of that particular battle, that what led to that famous battle.
So very right, and I must tell everyone that I have gone through most of it, and it definitely has been written in a very, very easy to read style, and definitely keeps you, as Roopesh just mentioned, on the edge of your seat. But it is definitely, Roopesh, shocking that, as you just mentioned, that even after playing such an important part in the history, there's a very little information on Porus in contemporary Indian scenario and narrative. So how did your research of 4 years get a structure finally? Because I'm sure you must have been really lost. There's not enough history available. And so what was that breaking point where you thought that, yes, you're going in the right direction?
Okay. So first of all, continuing your first question where you said that why I decided to write on Porus and not on other warriors which are available.
I did mention.
So in my opinion, and everybody, I am not an historian from by profession, but people will agree that Porus is the beginning of formal history of India. Before Porus, history was recorded by various, religion. For example, Jan used to record in Parikshit Puran, and Buddhists used to record in Tikas, and Hindus used to record as Purans, which we know. But authentic, or you can say the formal history commences with Porus, when Greek and Roman writers, historians first mention about this particular warrior in their writing. So that's why I chose that. Okay, this is the formal beginning of history. If I have to write something in history, being an HR professional, I should choose this particular topic. Second, I believe that he has played a very integral part in Indian history. He was the first warrior who has stopped foreign invasion on India, although there has been many foreign invasions after that, but he was the first person to stop first invasion. So in one way, this guy has delayed the dilution of Indian culture for almost 1000 years. So his contribution to our Indian history is immense. Unfortunately, what happened that once this battle was fought in 326 BC, within 2-3 years, we saw a great personality named Chandragupta Maurya emerging on the
Yes.
canvas of Indian history. And what
Yes.
happened that he created a huge empire. And all writers, historians, courtiers, everybody was busy describing him, his administration. And this guy, who played, in my opinion, an integral part for our culture and history, was completely lost. So I thought that I will try to do justice with his personality, and that's why I chose him. Now, research and all, and getting lost. So definitely there is little known, although people will say that no, we know about him. His name was Purushottam or Puru and all. But nothing can be said by surety because there is no contemporary reference in Buddhist text or Jain text or Purans about this particular guy. Whatever we know by Indian historians like Mukherjee, Radha R.R. Mukherjee Saab has written about him, Shastri Saab has written about him, and these people have mentioned that he belongs to certain clan, he belongs to certain place, and they have drawn some conclusion that what type of person he was. But I would say that most of these things are, long drawn conclusion, and nothing can be said about certainty that who he was. We don't know his original name, we don't know the name of his kingdom. Actually, we don't know where he actually ruled. There is a guess that he used to rule between Satluj and Chenab.
Caleb.
It's just a
Yes.
guess. So I have tried to fill this gap, using this gap as my license to make it a very thorough, experienced for my readers. Lot of research
Fantastic.
I did for Alexander. I read original source. I will call it original of Arian by Curtius Rufus and Plutarch. But all these things, and people should know that Alexander died somewhere in 320-21 BC, and these texts were written somewhere in 50 to 100 AD, almost 400 years after his death. It's like today, if I write or you write about Aurangzeb, it is like that. So after that time, these people wrote about him. So how much authentic it is, whether they are talking, all facts and figure, it is still doubtful. So I have used that, and there is contradiction. There are a lot of contradiction in their writing, which a reader will find once they read my book, Porus in the Shadow of Betrayal.
Fantastic. And I'm sure it's going to make a very, very good journey for anyone who wants to discover this part of history, which is not known. And there are a lot of enthusiasts, a lot of young generation waiting to unravel the mysteries, as they say, of Porus and Alexander. Please tell us about Purushottam. Why did you think about naming him so? And why didn't you really stick with the original name of Porus, as he is commonly known? So, as you just said, we're not sure of the name still, but why Purushottam?
So when I was doing this research, so people have written about what was his. Definitely, it was not his original name, because Chandragupta is referred as Sikandar Kote by Greek historians. So definitely, they have used different names for Indian uh, uh, rulers. So his name was something else. So if I would have taken his name Porus as a main character, I would have not done justice. So in research, I came like three names came up. One
Okay.
is Purushottam, other is Puru, and third is Parvata. So after a lot of deliberation, thought, and reading, I decided to put it my like finger on this particular Purushottam, because in that days name of Indian people used to be long, Chandragupt, Vishnu Gupt. So that's why I thought that okay, stick to a longer name, which is Purushottam. And this guy, the reader will see them that he is like struggling right now. He has been betrayed by
Mm.
Nandas who are ruling Magadhas, and he is nowhere. He's just trying to find some way in his life. And reader, once they go through his life journey, they will feel that okay, this guy will defeat Alexander. How will they? He is like not able to survive as well. So how he will go and defeat a huge power of Greek army like Alexander? And that is what they will think, and that is what they will discover in the new book, which is Porus the Undefeated Warrior, which is a work in progress, how he
Okay.
became big king and how he generated that power that he was able to resist Greeks.
So that is the second part of the series. So how
Second
long are you
part.
going to take that? Because now there is no COVID, so you maybe have less time.
But good thing is that research part, which took a lot of time for me, like almost 4 years, is over. So I have already read a lot of literature on
Okay.
Alexander, what is available and all that. The storyline is very clear with me that what will happen in the Battle of Hellespont. That is very clear. I just have to take the reader in a very exciting and thrill manner to that particular point, and that is what I am trying to do. So this book is almost 80% complete. This book will see the beginning of the Battle of Hydaspes, Jhelum में जो लड़ाई शुरू होगी, but end again it will stop on one cliffhanger, and
Like
reader will
like
think
this
कि भाई
book.
ये होगा क्या इस battle में, and then the third book beginning will be that particular battle, how this battle ended.
Tell me one thing. I mean, you decided right from the beginning to write a three-part series with Garuda Prakashan. Uh, and first book already is hyped and people are looking forward to it. People want to read it because of this. So how much of responsibility do you think as an author you have to keep the same pace? You know how it is because people start having a lot of expectation. Okay, this is so good. So now I expect the same. And how do you want to
So
counter that?
very very valid question, and this is the journey of an author. I
Yes.
wrote a book before Porus, which is on my subject, which is on HR. Then I wrote this book, Porus in the Shadow of Betrayal. In this journey, I realized that author cannot write for himself. Author has to write for the readers.
So absolutely.
So earlier I thought that okay, I know a lot and I will write something which will show people that how much I know. So I realized that that is not the right approach. So you need to save the time of the reader because so that he should write and enjoy your book. So this I learned while writing Porus in the Shadow of Betrayal. And you will be surprised that the first draft of Porus was 150,000 words, which I reduced to 110,000 words, which you see today. Even this is itself a very thick book.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
uh, this I realized that you have to write for the readers, not for yourself. So a lot of research item which has been reduced to two-liners, uh, which earlier I wrote like full chapter because I just wanted to brag कि मैंने भैया इतना पढ़ा है इसके बारे में, but it will not work. So reader when they read they find it that yeah this is something which is very exciting thrilling because a lot of things have been concise said in and leaving a lot of space to think that why it has happened.
Do you think your being a HR professional helps you get into some other people's shoes? I mean, now that you're already thinking about how readers will react and you're trying to get into their shoes, what will appeal to them? So does it, your being a HR professional through and through, help you with that? Or does it come
I don't.
automatically?
No, it is both way. It sometimes it helps, sometimes it becomes a hurdle for you. It's only that you have to read it again and again to make sure that how you will drive that particular message. You will not believe that 7 characters I removed from my book because I just wanted to present the best possible version to the reader so that they feel that there is some excitement, some disconnect which will leave them thinking that कि भई ये क्यों हो रहा है because actually in the actual story there were 7 more characters which are lost. So if there is one character which name is Vikrodhan, and it's a Vikrodhan is a child of like 10 years and very exciting character. If you go through this particular book and you will see that how this particular character develops, you will see Purushottam rising to power and then one day he will dissolve but you will see how Vikrodhan will, you will rise, and at the end of the third book as well, the Vikrodhan will leave you on the cliffhanger again, that what will happen after that. So every character, I thought I put a lot of time on that to make sure that that reader enjoys this particular journey.
You know,
I have
yes, please.
I have taken a lot of inspiration from Purans, because Purans was that actual source available for history and all. At
Mm.
least three stories in this particular book are inspired by Puranic stories, which we have. My climax, which is there in this particular book, is inspired by one of a very amazing story which I read in Puran. My like 50% of that particular climax is inspired from that particular story. So when you read, then you will get that feeling. It will take you in that particular era, and you will relive that particular culture which was there in that 3300 BC.
Lovely. You know, coming to the names, there's so many of them, and you still say that seven of them are not included. And names are tongue twisters. Names are difficult to remember by. I'm sure somebody writing a book review will definitely have to. I read some very, very good reviews on the net uh, on the book. Yeah, and I
So
feel that Greek names are very difficult to remember and write about. So are some of the older names. So it is kind of a multi-character book. So which is your favorite character? You, it's very difficult, I know, to pick up your favorite child, but how does it go? Will you like to
So
talk about
there
one
are
character?
many. There are three stories plots which are going on. Three, four, एक तरह से कह सकते हैं. There is a story of Nanda's Chandragupta which is going on. There is a story of Darius which is there. He is a king of Persia. There is a story of Purushottam. He has like big clan, three brothers, son and brothers, son and all. And then there is definitely Alexander. So Alexander, which is 50% of this particular book, 59, 33, 34% of this particular book, everything is authentic. And
Mm,
there was a discussion that whether should I change these names. Aerobarzanes, a very difficult name to pronounce. Even I struggled.
mm,
Artazas, Xerxes. So I thought that probably I will change and make them more easy to remember and call. Then I thought that I will be taking away the actual authenticity from my particular book. I want to tell my reader that look, this is not a fantasy of an Indian patriotic author which is saying that Porus was great. I want them to feel that ki, nahi, this is an actual story and this is how it has unfolded. Please see it from my perspective, from the Indian perspective. Till now, whatever I have learned or seen, it is written from Roman or Greek perspective. They have eliminated some very important details. And if I change these names, the whole soul of this flavor of history will be diluted. So I decided that I will go with that name. Sorry to my readers, there are some tongue twisters also, but they are original names. What I can do. Uh, if you see their history, how they have written, Darius, who was king of Persia, was the main villain of Alexander. He started his journey just to finish Persian Empire. Now, historians, they have failed to tell the reader that how he died. They don't know. How is it possible? You are writing his dialogues, his speeches, Alexander ki, before the commencing on war, what he said to his warriors and all, how he motivated. So you have those records, but you don't know how Darius died. You don't know how Persepolis was burned. You don't know what happened in Thebes, who destructed the town of Thebes. You don't know, because it is very evident that you want to present your hero in a very good light, which was a barbarian of his area who killed maximum people just for his own glory. For there is an incident written by Arian that after the war of Granicus, there was 10,000 Greek soldiers who were fighting from Persian side. They surrendered without fight. They said, "Okay, you are our king from Greek. We will not fight, and we are surrendering." He slaughtered all these 10,000 people. He just wanted to give message to people that, boss, if you take your arms against me from the side of Persia, even if you don't fight, I will not spare you. Imagine there is a village described by Arian. near somewhere in Afghanistan. These people, they migrated like few hundreds years back from Greek. They established a small colony in Afghanistan. This guy, he goes there after winning various battles. These people, they open gates, welcome him. He killed each and every person, kids, women, everybody. And Aryan is saying that he killed them because he just wanted to give this message that people who left Greek are traitors. What type of person will do all these things? So there are numerous such examples which you will find in my book, that the person whom we call Alexander the Great, there is nothing great about him. And there is a different angle of his personality which you will find in this particular book. And you will want desperately that somebody should beat him, somebody should crush him. And then you will find this particular warrior who is standing in front of a large army of Greek to make sure कि आओ भाई मैं बताता हूँ कि मैं क्या चीज हूँ.
So, right,
Sorry, I'm
the
very
way
emotional about this particular book.
I know, I was just going to get to that, that you're so emotional and passionate, the kind of hard work you've done for the book. Recently I had this fortune of meeting Rajkumar Rao and also being there for his conversation happening. And he did mention that since being a method actor, he gets into the character because he picks up all different characters every time. And it's very difficult to come out of those characters, right? So how does it happen with you? I mean, you're talking so passionately about something which happened how many years back. We're talking about a war which took place in 326 and all the characters around it. So how does it happen with you? What has been your story the last 4 years living with these characters, literally?
So each and every character, so there are more than like close to 100 characters, more than 100 characters in that. And out of these 100 characters, 50 are fictitious. And every character, I have done huge research to make sure that they fit in the narration. They add value and excitement to the reader. And if it is not valued, I have actually removed them. A lot of people, they get killed because I saw that they are not they are just eating time of the reader, which is not needed. So definitely a lot of research, thinking, living those characters, thinking like them, thinking like a 10-year-old kid, how the person will react in that situation, thinking like a warrior who has lost everything and want to reestablish, thinking like an Alexander who has been given everything in a plate, and then he is taking it along, just showing people that okay, this is actually I have achieved everything. So how such people, how like you will not find Alexander as villain from day one, from first book, from first page. Gradually you will see different shades of his character, and then you will see that okay, this guy is not so straight as we thought. So and for that, if you read and you think, then probably you will come to some conclusion that कि ये shade मैं देने जा रहा हूँ इसको जो है. So very passionate, close to my heart. And second book I am writing, again I am getting more emotional, that how to take Porus to that particular level, so that people will think, believe that the what end I am going to give for this particular battle, which people know as a battle of Hadaspes, is actually possible. I would have written a small book on 50 pages or 100 pages, but that would have not done justice, would have not driven this particular idea that this is possible, until unless you know that what Alexander did in last 10 years, what type of personality, and how he used to fight. You will never believe that he can be defeated by someone who is there in waiting for him on the bank of river Jhelum.
Galen.
So that idea will come when you see that, when you go to that particular journey.
Fantastic. But how do you disconnect yourself? Have you learned a method in which in a day when you're thinking about your plot, you need some time off?
So
You need
there
some
are
time
various
off
zones.
the characters that you're writing about?
No,
How do
what happens that there are zones. So you get an idea. When I get an idea, then I get mad. Then I don't see anything. So it will go on for maybe 10, 15, 20 days. And then I will exhaust it completely. So that's how the book will become like 150 K word book. And then once this is completely omitted on the paper, then I'm free. Then I will do other things and all that. Think about like what will happen beyond that. I will read again, then I will get another idea. Okay, this is how it can get connected. Again, I will go in my zone, again start writing and all. That is how I do.
Lovely, lovely. As we've discussed, and we already know this, Porus is definitely a rather underrated king. He was the first defender of India, as we've discussed, who kind of thwarted Alexander the Great's plans of conquering India. Do you think Alexander was overawed by this aspect of Porus enough to pardon him? And let's talk a little bit about this historic pardon
Not
that
possible.
happened.
Impossible. Impossible. Listen, now listen, like this is my favorite subject.
Yes, I wanted to get to that.
What Porus, what Alexander did, he came to throne on 336 BC. The moment he was announced as king of Greek, everybody revolted against him. So he was not having a great, this thing, कि हाँ ये king ban gaya, by thank you, we are like God will save us. So he started crushing revolts one by one. What he did, he went to Thief. Thief was the biggest town, most prosperous, known for a lot of things in that particular area. He asked his people to kill each and every person. Every person in that particular town, either they flee or was killed. Army general आते हैं साहब सबको मार दिया. Then he was not happy. He said that okay, set this city on fire. The complete city was burned. जल गई, अब क्या करें? Then he said that okay, destroy all houses, walls, and dig the foundation. This city was converted into plain land. You will not even, you will tell that there was a city like Thieves existed ever. So what type of person will do that? Just imagine. So he goes to Gaza, which is considered to be a gateway of Egypt. This portion is not in first book. And there is a commander named Betty. He said that, okay, I will not surrender my fort. This is very strong fort and I will give you a befitting reply. This battle goes on, siege goes on and all. Alexander takes charge. There is a duel between Betty and Alexander. Alexander gets injured and he retired from the battle. It is a description by Arian that the battle was so furious that Betty's weapon was slipping from his own blood. But he decided not to relent. He was continued to fight and he was captured alive and presented to Alexander. And Alexander wanted him to lean, which he refused. He said that, look, I have defeated you. I don't lean in front of people whom I have defeated. What Alexander did he pardon him because he was a great warrior? He asked him to be dragged with a horse till he died. So this guy died a very cruel and brutal death just because he resisted Alexander. Now you are saying this person, when he met Porus, he said, "Bhaiya, हाँ, तुम तो बहुत अच्छे आदमी हो, तुमको मैंने छोड़ दिया." How it is possible? You have an ally in Takshila. This guy helps you and tells you how, guides you inside India, fight along with you. You have a fight with Porus. You defeated Porus, and you added territory of Takshila to Porus. It has to be other way around. You have to reward your ally, but you are rewarding the person who has. These all are beyond logic. It cannot happen, considering the contradiction or personality of Alexander, what we have seen in past. He cannot have this change of heart after seeing Porus कि हाँ भाई तू तो बहुत great warrior है. I will consider you friend from today. No, so this is all something which, when you read the complete story, you will refuse to believe. Bebos,
yes, you were saying
after the death of Darius, Bibus declared himself as the king of Persia, and he fought with Alexander for 2 years, and he was betrayed by his own people and captured by Alexander. Alexander put him in chain, made him walk from Afghanistan, today's Afghanistan, till Babylon on foot, and there he was executed. He was also a great warrior. He fought with you for 2 years. So why this cruel treatment to him, and why showering praises for Porus? So this will not gel. Sorry, I will not buy this.
Absolutely. I think nobody will buy it after reading the book and after knowing your perspective. There's a very important line everywhere that when Alexander asked Porus after the defeat how he wanted to be treated, he said that like a king. So what does that show you of Porus? So
this is when you read history of Arian and Curtius, and you reach this particular page, Porus has been described at least like 2 pages, and before that there is no reference of Porus, and he has been described as a very tall, strong, fearsome warrior. with who is fighting with great bravery and all. Everything good about him. And the guy who refused to surrender even after losing all his battles. Then Alexander asked one of his commander to go and pursue him, that there is no cause now, everybody is killed, and why you are unnecessarily fighting. And then ultimately he surrenders and he is presented before Alexander. This is all Greek version. And actually it is written. I wanted to know कि ये कहाँ से आया कहाँ से. So actually it is written. When he asked how you want me to treat, he said, treat me like a king. Definitely, this shows that even enemies were willing to praise the bravery of this guy, and they could not, avoid it, saying that no, they have to praise because he has done something which had made that impact. That even after writing everything, one-sided narration for their hero, they had to write it that this guy was so, full of pride for himself that he said that even after losing also he said that treat me like a king. So this is one more thing which I will say कि हाँ भाई ये बंदे में दम था कुछ.
काफी दम था. And there have been movies of Porus, sometimes people playing characters. And for example, Sohrab Modi, he played the
Yeah,
role of Porus in 1941 movie Sikandar. Then you have Prithviraj Kapoor, who acted as Porus in Sikandar-e-Azam. And there's been a big, I think on Amazon or wherever, there's been a big television serial aired,
yeah,
which was
correct.
called Porus. So because you're working so much in detail on this, maybe sometime in future, this gets converted into a tele serial or something. So do you see your book really being converted into a tele serial or a movie? So what, and who do you see as the central role of Purushottam?
So in fact, if you go through Amazon reviews which I have right now live, there are three reviews which are talking the same thing what you said.
Okay.
Three reviews they say that it is like one of them is saying it's like Game of Thrones where you
Okay.
have multiple plots
Characters coming
and so
in.
exciting.
Yeah,
And one of the review is saying that yeah, it's an excellent plot, ready-made. Somebody has written it's a ready-made plot for any a movie maker or a serial maker. That everything screenplay has been written so well that you don't have to work
absolutely.
at all and do it. So definitely this is like in some fantasy. I also believe that if this may happen. And who can play Porus is a middle-aged character, maybe 40 to 45 years. And Alexander is like young, he's around 30. So accordingly, there are many actors who can suit this description. Porus is definitely considered to be very tall and strong. Somebody who is actually fitting that particular physical description, maybe someone like Prabhash or something, they may play
Yes.
that particular role. So I don't know. This is all fantasy of authors.
All the best for that, because definitely I also think the same way. It's kind of a ready-made screenplay award. We don't have much time left. We have around 3 minutes, but anything that we have missed out talking about the book that you would particularly like to talk about? Something that maybe something like maybe a shout out to the readers as to why they should be reading this book. And
So there is a
yeah,
very although we got carried away because Porus was a warrior and whatever we discussed like 90% was about war, fight and this thing. But 50% of my book is very emotional about relationship between Porus and his wife, relationship between Pinaki and his love interest, relationship between among the brothers of Nandas. There were total 8 brothers. Amazing relationship between Alexander and his friend, uh, which is various shades are given to that. But if you read my book, you will see that why how emotionally detached Alexander was made to become such type of character. You will see that what was his relation with his father, with his mother, what happened, why he started thinking in a different way. So there are certain chapters which like I feel like reading again and again because they highlight the philosophy of life, character of people, and value of relationship which they have. So that portion we missed completely because we were carried away by the image of warrior of Alexander and Porus. A relationship between Darius and his wife. This wife was captured alive by Alexander. his wife, two daughters, 11-year-old and 9-year-old, and old mother. They all were captured by Alexander, and he kept them captive throughout his life. And we want to tell this guy that you are a great guy. Which great king will do that? It was never heard before. Although we see paintings by the Western painters showing that this 2-year-old son is welcoming Alexander. Just imagine, is it possible? You are capturing the enemy's family and they will welcome you, really? So this is one-sided narration which we should understand why it has been given to us, and there is a time that we should challenge with facts, not with fiction, which is with facts that it's not possible what you are saying.
Thank you, Rupesh, for taking out time. It's such a wonderful book published by Garuda Prakashan. And thank you, Garuda, for putting us together for such a fabulous session. And yes, this is the book that we've spoken about. And do write your comments on the video, 5 best comments on the book. Write a review or the book or about Porus or about Rupesh. You get to win around 5 books, and balance of you can definitely order. It's not worth missing. You should all read. Thank you once again. Please do subscribe.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Neeta ji, for having me. And it was a wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Trends.